Read in the Word with me daily from the NIV. Today's topic is Light Out of Anguish, Isaiah chapter 53, verses 4 through 12. Surely he took up our pain and bore our suffering. Yet we considered him punished by God, stricken by him, and afflicted. But he was pierced for our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was on him, and by his wounds we are healed. We all, like sheep, have gone astray. Each of us has turned to our own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. He was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. He was led like a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before its shearers is silent, so he did not open his mouth. By oppression and judgment he was taken away. Yet who of his generation protested? For he was cut off from the land of the living. For the transgression of my people he was punished. He was assigned a grave with the wicked, and with the rich in his death, though he had done no violence, nor was any deceit in his mouth. Yet it was the Lord's will to crush him and cause him to suffer. And though the Lord makes his life an offering for sin, he will see his offspring and prolong his days, and the will of the Lord will prosper in his hand. After he has suffered, he will see the light of life and be satisfied. But his knowledge, my righteous servant, will justify many, and he will bear their iniquities. Therefore, I will give him a portion among the great, and he will divide the spoils with the strong, because he poured out his life unto death, and was numbered with the transgressors. For he bore the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors. In Isaiah 53, verses 4 through 12, this is a powerful prophecy about the suffering servant, often understood as a foreshadowing of Jesus Christ's sacrifice for humanity. The passage speaks of bearing others' sorrows, being wounded for transgressions, and ultimately bringing redemption through suffering. So, we can see these examples in the real world. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, a German pastor and theologian, opposed the Nazi regime and was involved in efforts to resist Adolf Hitler. Knowing the risk, he stood for truth and righteousness, ultimately being imprisoned and executed. His willingness to suffer for the sake of justice mirrors the prophecy of one who is oppressed and afflicted, yet did not open his mouth. Isaiah 53:7. Like Christ, Bonhoeffer bore the cost of standing against evil, bringing hope to others through his faith and sacrifice. Another example is Maximilian Kolbe. Maximilian Kolbe was a Catholic priest who was imprisoned in Auschwitz during World War II. When the Nazis selected 10 prisoners to die by starvation as punishment, Kolbe volunteered to take the place of a man who had a family. He endured suffering and ultimately gave his life to save another, embodying the message of Isaiah 53. He was pierced for our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities. Isaiah 53:5. His self-sacrificial love reflected God's ultimate sacrifice. Mother Teresa dedicated her life to serving the poor, sick, and dying in the slums of Calcutta. Despite personal struggles, health issues, and moments of spiritual doubt, she bore the burdens of others, much like the suffering servant in Isaiah 53. She embodied the idea of taking on the sorrows of others, serving selflessly, to bring hope and healing to the broken. Her work reflects the prophecy's theme of suffering for the sake of others' well being. Thank you so much for listening. Join me soon for the next Read with Me Daily. Stay safe and may God bless.